ancient explorers as we head back 5,000 years through history to discover fascinating facts about ancient Egypt. Discover facts about ancient Egypt to our facts about modern-day Egypt. Facts about ancient Egypt. 1. Most ancient Egyptian pyramids were built as tombs for pharaohs, rulers of ancient Egypt, and their families. To date, over 130 pyramids have been discovered in Egypt. 2. The afterlife was incredibly important to the Egyptians. They believed that by preserving a dead person's body, which they did through the process of mummification, their soul would live on in the afterlife forever. 3. The Pyramid of Khufu at Giza is the largest Egyptian pyramid. This incredible structure weighs as much as 16 Empire State Buildings. 4. Both Egyptian men and women wore makeup. The eye paint was usually green made from copper or black made from lead. As well as offering protection from the sun, the Egyptians believed makeup had magical healing powers too. 5. Unwrapped. The bandages of an ancient Egyptian mummy could stretch for 1.6 kilometers. Yikes. 6. The Egyptian alphabet contained more than 700 hieroglyphs. Uncover the meaning behind these ancient symbols by checking out our awesome hieroglyphics feature. 7. Ancient Egyptians believed in more than 2,000 deities. They had gods for everything from dangers to chores. Each had different responsibilities and needed to be worshipped so that life could be kept in balance. 8. Cats were considered sacred animals by the ancient Egyptians. It's thought that most families kept a cat as a pet, which they believed would bring the household good luck. 9. Love playing board games with your pals. Well, so did the ancient Egyptians. One popular game was Senet, which was played for over 2,000 years. The game involved throwing sticks in the same way we throw dice to see how many squares to move your piece forward on the board. 10. The ancient Egyptians invented lots of things we still use today, such as paper, pens, locks and keys, and believe it or not, toothpaste. Country fact file: Egypt today. Incredible ancient monuments, scorching deserts and bustling cities. This ancient country is now a sprawling modern landscape. Read on to learn about the Egypt of today. Official name: Arab Republic of Egypt. Form of government: Republic. Capital: Cairo. Population: 87,562,261. Official language: Arabic. Money: Egyptian pound guinea. Area: 1,001,449 square kilometers. Major mountain ranges: Eastern Highlands. Major river: Nile. Flag. Map of Egypt. Egypt, geography and landscape. Without the Nile River, all of Egypt would be desert. Only about 2.5 centimeters of rain falls throughout Egypt each year. But each summer, the Nile River rises because of rains at its source far to the south in Ethiopia. When this happens, floods cover the river's valleys, leaving sediments needed for trees, plants and crops to grow. Egypt is often divided into two sections: Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north. The sections are named this way because the Nile flows from south to north. The river empties into the Mediterranean Sea on the country's north coast. Southern Egypt's landscape contains low mountains and desert. Northern Egypt has wide valleys near the Nile and desert to the east and west. North of Cairo, Egypt's capital city, is the sprawling triangular Nile River Delta. This fertile land is completely covered with farms. Egypt's incredible nature. Egypt is home to a wide variety of animals and plants, including cheetahs, hyenas, crocodiles, and cobras. The best places to see Egypt's wildlife are its 21 protected regions, which include oases, deserts, mountains, coastal areas, river islands, and wetlands. Egyptians have always been close to the natural world. The ancient Egyptians left paintings and carvings, which can still be seen today, of large animals like elephants, hippos, leopards, and cheetahs. These animals were once common in Egypt, but they are now rare or extinct because of hunting and habitat loss. The history of Egypt. The first people to live on the banks of the Nile were hunters and fishermen, who settled there over 8,000 years ago. They learned to grow crops and raise animals, and they began to build villages and towns. They traded with their neighbors and learned to sail boats. By 3000 BC, a civilization was established. Around 3100 BC, the kingdoms of Upper and Lower Egypt were unified under a powerful king, later called a pharaoh. These kings built huge pyramids, temples, and other impressive monuments. They also conquered other lands. By 1000 BC, Egypt had split into smaller parts and the kingdom was in decline. Strong neighbors attacked and took over Egyptian territory in 31 BC. Egypt fell under Roman control, and centuries later in AD 640 Muslim warriors took over Egypt. These Arab forces ruled Egypt for several centuries and founded the modern capital Cairo. In 1882, the British invaded and occupied Egypt. The British wanted control of the Suez Canal, which linked the Mediterranean Sea with the Red Sea and greatly shortened the sailing trip from Asia to Europe. The British stayed until Egypt declared independence in 1952. Egyptian people and culture. About 90% of Egyptians are Muslim, which means they are followers of the Islam religion. About 10% of Egyptians are Copts, one of the oldest branches of the Christian religion. Egypt's population is growing rapidly. This puts strain on Egypt's resources, since most people live in a narrow strip of land along the Nile River. Having so many people in such a small area causes overcrowding everywhere, from schools and hospitals to apartment buildings and public transport. Children are highly valued in Egypt, especially in rural areas where they help on family farms. Children are also expected to look after their parents in their old age. Egyptian government and economy. Egypt's geography, population, history, and military strength have made it highly influential in the region. Egypt is a democratic republic, although some critics claim that it is not truly democratic. Until 2005, there was never more than one presidential candidate to vote for. Egypt's most valuable resources are oil and gas, which are exported to other countries. Other exports include metals, textiles, livestock, and chemical products. Tourism is also an important part of Egypt's economy, with visitors flocking to see the famous ancient monuments and to enjoy the country's beautiful beaches.